I get scared being back here, Michael.
Me too, Dick. I wish they'd cremate all these AIDS victims. It'd make more sense, especially since there's so many of them.
Well, it's good for our business. We make plenty off this job. Well, if they wasn't dying right and left, we'd be packed away in the beer over at Jimmy's bar, so we'd be here earning money. I say it don't matter they're a bunch of queers. Their money's just as green as my own daddy's.
Probably the only thing these faggots ever gonna help anyone else out.
I don't know. Let's help somebody out.
How's that?
They had anything.
So what?
So, they must have been fucking and sucking themselves blind. Whatever it is they do with themselves.
How's that helping anyone out?
You break, Mike. He ain't that old yet. Jeez.
in life. But in death, as we all know, the Creator has given us a second chance. Here we become as one. We are the equals of each and every other man. The world seems to stop for even its least member during these moments, as if the Lord hath arranged our death so that we may come together and acknowledge in our hearts that yes, even the least of us commands respect. And so, thus comes our forgiveness of whatever took place during our loved one's life. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We come into the world and are made flesh of the earth, and to the earth we shall all return. And thus our brother Donald Archibald McKendall came and lived, and now returns to the earth from whence he came. And thus are we all his equals, and shall later join him ourselves as such. May God be with him during his sojourn.
God's vengeance has done you in, and it was none too soon either, fucker.
Mitchell, stop it. This is no time for hatred.
No time? He killed himself for Christ's sakes. Just be a fag. Him. Why you can show your face here after what you've done, I'll never know.
This isn't becoming of you, Mitch, and I won't even qualify it by trying to make an answer.
The fuck you said? I'm your handful of knuckles, you little shit. You killed him.
I loved him.
You killed him.
What do you care? You deserted him when he was alive, and now you want to be his big brother? He was on you, Mitch. Crocodile tears, that's all you've got. You hated us both from the beginning. Just get away from that other asshole!
Get away, you faggot. Don't you ever come near me again. Ever.
Hey, no problem. Next time you see me, just give me a 10-foot pole, and I'll use it to measure the fucking distance between us, just to keep it accurate.
Oh, very good.
I did everything I could for you, Don. Wasn't anything you needed ever. I got it for you. Stood by you. I felt like love ought to be able to handle death itself. But it couldn't. They hate us. Even in death, they hate us. You were mistaken, Don. They haven't changed. They haven't evolved. Oh well. I remember how we met. I was immediately struck by your naivete. You were so vulnerable. I was loyal to you, Donald. You know that, don't you?
Yes, I know that, Ernie.
I never tricked once after I met you.
Nor me either.
It was too late. You were already doomed.
Can't believe it's happened to me.
I'm going to miss you, Donald.
Me too. But tell me, Ernie, how things are at home. Are the other guys taking it okay? Huh?
Well, I guess it's over.
Are they okay, Ernie?
Goodbye.
Ernie! For Christ's sake, Ernie! I guess I'm truly alone. I've always dreaded this day, being alone. I know what hell is like now. I wonder how long it stays this way. Day? Forever? Will I stay right here and rot. Maybe go somewhere else. Maybe be a ghost. A fairy. I wonder if these fingernails really continue to grow for 6 months. You know, that'd make masturbation a real bitch, I bet. Oh, I heard that the worms get inside you. Ooh, I wonder what that feels like. Well, might not be so bad. Look at the positive side. Might make it seem like an orgasm that lasts forever.
At least he chuckled. That's a hell of a lot more than most of them do. Oh well. That's the way they are when they first get here. Frightened, scared. The disease usually takes them through 3 stages: denial, bargaining, acceptance. Death starts the whole damned process all over again. It's like a big hungry circle eating its children. Every goes round again. You know what I mean, too. The way night follows day. Time repeats itself here. There's simply no end to it. Don't believe me? Just watch. You'll see. We're lucky, though. It's a lot better for us here than it was before. It's night here all the time, so we get to play at being ourselves, instead of wasting our time getting ready for this place. After all, what is nighttime for except for playing around? Oh, honey, it's so true. Right. Being out there where you are, in the so-called light, you can only watch. You're pretty much unaware of what it all means, until you get here and have a chance to mull it over again, from a distance. Don't feel so superior, and don't be so smug. You will be with us eventually. And it's not so bad, being dead. In fact, your life is just another little play, like this one. Trivial, short, superficial. You'll be watching your life dance again and again, part by part. You see, being dead isn't so bad, is it?
Miss Ernie. I've been so close to him. Thank you, God. Thanks for giving me Ernie. My life was such a wretched shit before I met him. He was so wonderful. Always by my side. He made me feel like a human being. But that was before I became a bad shit and decided I'd be sick and die. Good old Don, the party pooper extraordinaire. Fuck. Hey, I can still say that. It feels so good. Fuck.
Not so loud.
Oops. Sorry.
Me?
Who's me?
Sean.
A ghost?
Sort of.
I'm afraid of ghosts.
Oh, get over it. You're one now.
I'm being a ghost.
Right, honey?
I'm afraid.
See? It's called denial. He is denying his own death. We all do that at first. Listen, Don. You'll get over it. I denied I was dead for 7 weeks.
What happened then?
I said, fuck rigor mortis. Fuck the worms. Fuck the fingernails. I'm gonna take off my mask and finally enjoy myself.
Did it help?
Sort of. I started getting out more at least. Meeting more people.
Isn't there more of you? Us,
Hundreds more, Lord, yes. For every living soul, dear child, there are an equal number of people who have lived before. That's just something understood by nature. Maybe not by man, but nature knows it.
How creepy.
Donald, are you one of the light children?
The light children?
Most of the guys are taught that they are the light, or something like that. I was in the same house that you were in, probably. But they always seem to teach the light thing.
Oh, yes. Yes, the light. I am the light. It helps a lot.
You still believe it?
Do you?
I don't know.
Me either.
Helps to try, though.
Yeah, I guess it would.
I know it, Donald.
No chance, Ernie.
The doctor said you'd be negative and they were positive, Don.
We haven't the time left to be arguing. Whatever he said, it must be right? And the time, there isn't much left, that's for sure. Remember the time we met, Ernie?
How could I forget it? You were standing by the bar acting innocent. Little bitch.
I was. I am. Innocent, I mean. I certainly didn't deserve this. AIDS wasn't a part of the bargain. VD maybe. Penicillin maybe, not death.
You're a martyr, Don. We're all martyrs. It's what we are, I guess. Kind of early warning system. We die and the rest of humanity learns. The world will never be the same.
The sexual revolution, you mean?
Yes, it was a grand experiment.
Oh, yes, grand. It was grand indeed. Only trouble was the experiment failed. Or worked, depending upon how you look at it.
I don't understand. Sorry.
I guess I mean that we proved things. Not necessarily the things we wanted to prove, like that we could write our own rules, do our own things, and nobody could tell us a thing we didn't already know. We forged new ground. We tested the edges of the waters, sexual waters. Fantasy areas that no man or woman ever even tried to enter. We entered them.
That we did. We certainly did. Guess we got our shoes a little muddy.
We wear rubbers now.
Yes, of course. Whenever.
But then we just slid right into life. Did what came naturally to us. Made love, made history. It wasn't our fault this happened.
No.
I hope you don't have to go through this.
Me? Don't you worry about me. It's you I'm more concerned about. I'd take your place if I could.
You say that now.
I'd say it later too.
How do I know?
Just believe me.
Why?
Because I have it too.
You?
The test. I took the test.
You're still denying it, Donald. Stop being such a prude. There are hundreds of us in the same boat you're in. Don't take your suffering and your death so personally. We all got fucked. You were lucky. I was the first one here. It was lonely. Those of us who are pioneers always find it that way. They opened up this plot of land especially for us.
For us?
Yes.
That seems strange.
Faggots have always seemed strange.
Who are you calling a faggot, you queer?
Who are you?
Vincent, and I ain't no faggot.
You mean that most of us are faggots here?
Yes, the majority. Although we do have a few other distinguished guests. Vincent there is a drug addict. 3 main lines per week, minimum.
Like me too, don't forget me.
Hi, Robbie.
Hi.
Who are you, Robbie?
Robbie, how's the hemophiliac?
Robbie's one of us now, Don. He's a very special person, aren't you, Robbie?
You bet. And I like it here too.
He does too. Better than any of us.
If I had lived long enough, I know I would have been gay. I always thought so.
Why is that, Robbie?
I like wearing dresses.
Dresses! Oh, well, I guess that qualifies.
You know the does, Francine.
Actually, I always thought that being a tried-and-true cocksucker was the true test. God knows I've sucked many, many a man right down to the core.
Hardcore.
Vincent claims he was a pornography dealer. He knows all about faggots. But you're really a closeted bitch, that's what you are, Vincent. Let him suck me off, but never give head back. That keeps me straight. Is that what you tell yourself? Well, straight to hell, maybe, but straight it's not.
Kill you, little
Shit, well, you can't touch me, Vincent. Besides that, I'm not your type, honey. You like the sick little boy types, like Robbie there, just coming out of the closet. Had he lived that long? Oh, you would have gotten him. Probably on some back street somewhere. The good always attracts the bad first. Vulnerability is a deadly infection for most of us. That's why we become jaded queens early.
I do not rape little boys who talk like the Vice Squad. I was not that way. None of us were. We were businessmen, entrepreneurs. You didn't come around and buy what we sold. We've gotten into another line of business. That's all there was to it. Supply and demand.
I say you do rape little boys. But it doesn't matter, really. Don't be so superior, Butch Vincent. A druggie is not superior to a needle, much less to a wonderful, hot-looking man, honey. And don't you forget it either, Toots.
Toots up your ass.
Vincent is such a creep at times, but you'll get used to him. Sometimes it's nice to have a total degenerate around, especially since he's straight. Does wonders for the gay ego.
Ooh, Vincent, don't I wish, honey, don't I wish.
This is crazy.
Oh, no. It's not crazy. It's a kind of super reality. Death, not life, is a stage where I can finally get up and strut and fret. Ain't no one here gonna stop me now. No mother, no father, no brother, no sister, no minister, no cop, no fucking pussy buster can stop me here. This is a stage where I can figure it all out once and for all. Life. Ha! Life is a bitch, and then you die. Do you know what that phrase means, Don?
I guess it means that life is tough.
Tough. Honey, it's so tough it's a bitch. No one here would ever want to live it over again. Except in nightmares. In fact, we'd have to want nightmares to even begin to get back into the old humdrum of being a human being walking around on that cold, rock-strewn planet. After all, down here, beneath the crust, we are truly human. For the first time in our lives, we see ourselves as who we are.
All our shit visible before our eyes.
Ooh, isn't he wonderful? I just get a rush sometimes.
Shit, Vincent.
Yeah. Shit.
Maybe for you. Maybe partly for me. But what about Robbie here? He didn't have shit for living, did you, Robbie?
No, I guess not. I didn't really have time to get into the editor shit, I guess.
He would have.
Is that true, Robbie?
Shut. I don't know.
Well, we'll never know. But what I do know is that the good does come with the bad. Yes, life isn't all it's cracked up to be. Until your legs fly helter-skelter in the air and you get fucked within an inch of your life. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman or a born-again Christian. Even Jerry Falwell likes either taking it or giving it. And you can add taboo to that list too.
Taboo?
Showing my age, dear, sorry.
Backbone, darling, get a grip on yourself.
Well, what I'm not so sure of, Francine. Well, that is your name, right, Francine?
Why, that's bitch.
Oh, I get it. It's your taken name. Well, I just didn't want to offend you, but I wanted to know.
I was a queen, honey. And I'm still a queen. Only I hold the fort right here. Queen of the underworld. instead of in the village, the Castro, and the Key West. I was never one of the most elegant of fairies. No, not me. I am the most elegant fairy that ever lived, or died for that matter.
She is wonderful.
She is.
Thank you, Robbie. I like you a lot, too.
She thinks she's Robin Hood.
And I am. And you are my motherfucker, Vincent. That's what you are.
Shit on you.
Oh, Vincent, go somewhere and do your nails. There's enough dirt up there to dig 7 graves.
Funny, I don't do nails.
They said they don't do what?
Fuck you, Sean. Up your ass.
He fantasizes a lot, Donald. Don't mind him. Underneath that superficial exterior of shit and lust, there's a heart of gold, ain't there? If we ever get out of here, I'm taking Vincent to East St. Louis. It's his style.
Did you guys just lay off for a while? I just got here and have a lot of things to think over.
Sorry. We do just carry on, don't we?
Passes the time.
You always made me hot, Vince. You're so close to Humphrey Bogart.
Fuck you, Dollface.
See what I mean?
What? All I said was fuck you.
Fuck you, dollface. That's what you said. Donald, isn't he wonderful?
Yeah, I guess so. Say, haven't I met you before, Francine?
Oh, yes. Maybe not in person, but you met.
I thought so.
Since I was here first, we must have met somewhere along the way to hell. Relax, Donald. Sooner or later it'll reach you. Don't push it. I just love your big butchy buns, honey.
I think he's a 0.
Good. I'm not every fat type. There's hope in that. Everybody won't want to kiss my beautiful butthole.
No, we don't do that anymore, Vincent.
Do what?
We don't act inferior to straight men. We suck them. But we don't in our minds feel as if we are inferior.
Don't queer.
Stop it, Vincent. Once and for all, stop it.
Okay. Get off it.
Vincent feels superior, Donald. It's ingrained, I suppose. Probably an idea that festers in that part of Vincent's brain where tertiary syphilis would have erupted. If the health crisis hadn't done him in.
Francine, you suck. You know that?
Sticks and stones, honey, but you ain't never gonna hurt me. Francine ain't never being hurt by no man ever again. Vincent.
Francine,
Yes, child.
if you don't like being put down, then why do you want to pretend that he's Humphrey Bogart?
Robbie, you have the mind of a child. I forgive you that observation totally and without reservation. I realize that in your limited scope of experience, such discussions will always be difficult, and at best, sublime. Discussions of this matter will always live for you, my child. As what Father O'Brien from St. Adam's Parish told me, when he first showed me that his thing was a mystery of the church, and one of which I was going to become all the more familiar with. How true. Anyway, as I was saying before, I was so cherubically interrupted by this rambling child's innocent mouth, and which I have already forgiven in its entirety. We do not kowtow to straits any longer. If nothing else, beginning with death, we shall always separate sexual fantasy from grim reality. That means we can dream about big fancy straits being better than us, only as a part of our sexual needs, that is to heighten orgasmic potentials, of which we, being dead, have very little left, impotency being pandemic. As for any other part of our lives, Vincent and those like him are shit, pure and simple, 99 and 44 100% shit.
Eddie, Francine.
Well, you have to draw the line somewhere.
You exploit good, honest men.
How would you know, Vincent? You were never good. And never honest. That's 2 strikes against you. 1 more and you're out. Being kicked out of Limbo is pretty low, even for you, so watch your step.
It'd take more than the likes of you to kick me out of here, Francine.
I never thought I'd end up here. What did you call it, Limbo?
Yeah, Limbo. It's from Dunny's Infernal.
Pardon, child. That's Dante's Inferno, dear. Poor little child, what am I to do?
Limbo.
The place of the damned, Donald. The place where non-members of the church, those excommunicated and those who never believed enough, are destined to be sent.
Jesus, I thought this was a cemetery.
It is.
What's this limbo jazz?
Just a whim of mine. I am entitled to a little whim now and then, aren't I?
Maybe every 2 minutes or so, even.
Dear child, do be quiet.
Well,
Nothing. Button, lie, lips.
like this?
Your clothes.
I never thought that I'd survive. I guess that being here is viewed testament enough to the length of needing each one of us for existential. Yes, that's it. Existential continuation in some form or another. My philosophy teacher never thought I'd remember that word. But I did. Useful word, too. At least now. It's kind of nice here, really. Maybe after I get used to it, it might do. In a pinch, perhaps it has the potential to be better than before. Who knows? No disease, no suffering, no fears or phobias. Except ghosts. By myself? Christ. What is this? That, come to think of it, is tantamount to being afraid of my own proverbial shadow. Not much more of a shadow than I had before. I'd wager a bet on that.
He's not. Such pretty legs.
Yes. I believe this is going to be better than I ever dreamed. Well, even my transformational fantasy classes at the hospice didn't prepare me for this. I never really believed that I am light, I'm crossing over to the other side and my friends are waiting for me stuff. It seemed like a big bunch of shit. But that was the only hope it had for us, I suppose. Besides, it helped. I am the light.
This is the bargaining part. I told you about this, didn't I? Well, Donald is bargaining. He's giving up life in order to accept being here. After all, there isn't much else that Donald can do, now is there? I mean, it's not as if he has a puss at the pot to literally screw himself back out there into the old world beyond the grave, now does he? Oh. Of course, I've never looked. He could have both. Oh, you little joker, you Donald. You're a real feisty one, I bet.
I'm not the one. I'd like to be. It'd be fun. I wish that I could be the light. It would be nice. I'd like to feel this totally penetrating warmth. Oh, that would be great. The light coming out from my eyes, my ears, my hands, my feet,
My cock,
my knees, my nostrils, my elbows, my fists.
my ass.
But I guess it's not to be. Only a dream. A fantasy.
A useful tool.
That too.
It might be real.
Still, child, be still.
Well, maybe it's for real. But I can't reach it yet.
Bargaining, bargaining. Maybe I'd better get my nails done again. God knows they have a last to go.
Well, at least I'm not dead.
Don't bet on it.
Why not?
Things are not as seedy as an old dead queen like Francine might like to presume.
Do you believe in me being alive?
It's not for me to believe one way or the other. It's for you. It's the trip you want to take, not the one I chose.
Oh, well, how did you do it?
Do what?
You know, your trip, your thing, what was it?
No. Is. What is it? It's realism. That's my bag.
That's my bag, too. That's everyone's bag.
No. Mine is personal. It's my own. You can call it your own trip or bag or box, but my trip is my trip. It ain't like any other trip that any other person or corpse, for that matter, ever took.
Hey, I'm afraid of corpses, all right?
Sorry. I didn't mean to be grim. Instead of corpse, let me use the euphemism we've all previously agreed upon, okay? PWD? Or persons who have died. And I beg your pardon for being so untactfully blunt. that I might unsettle your adjustment into these new circumstances in which we have suddenly found ourselves.
I accept that apology. Go on.
It ain't up for you to accept it, you little cunt face. It's up to me. I made the first complaint. She ain't got no respect. Thinks I'm rocking danger fever or something, which I ain't. I got class. She don't see it. Fuck. What am I doing talking back to that slut, for instance? I know better. In this place, it's on my mind.
I told you he died of dementia. Makes for a pretty sad afterlife. Getting the mind back is the easy part. Getting the pieces to stay together, however, takes more discipline than our friend Vincent has.
Fuck her, Sean. Go on. Just lay off that corpuscle stuff.
Okay. As a person who has died, I suddenly realized what it is that I have to do with my life.
Ha!
I forgot. With my afterlife. My truth is to get totally out of this closet once and for all. Honey, being a corpse in a coffin is no burial. Like the Buddha said, the goose is out.
The goose is out?
Let me explain.
Please.
The Vietnamese have these huge glass jars, and they put a young gosling inside one of them and feed him until he grows up to fill the jar. They keep him around as pets. The young goose doesn't seem to care because it knows nothing else than being inside that jar. It doesn't panic or get upset the same way an old goose would if you put it inside that same jar. An old goose would die within half an hour from the confinement. The young goose, however, growing up in there, finds it perfectly tolerable. It likes it. In fact, there are stories of a jar goose dying immediately if its confinement is suddenly shattered. It longs for the surrounding glass, and it dies in panic when it is free to move around. It lasts the same half an hour and dies of a heart attack.
So you think that real life exists?
Yeah, sort of, but that's only part of the riddle.
Well, what's the other part?
Yes, I love a good story.
Well, it seems that the owner of Jar Goose went to a Buddhist monk to inquire about the proverbial secret of Buddha. The monk told him that if he could take the jar goose out of the jar and not break the jar or harm the goose, he would have a secret.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either, totally. Otherwise, I'd be enlightened.
Donald's the one who is the light.
Very funny. Anyway, what would happen if you tried to yank the goose out through the neck of the jar?
Did it come out?
Wrong, Robbie. What would happen is that you'd kill it. You'd break all its ribs as well as its legs. Its insides would also be crushed. Liver, stomach, intestines, lungs, all would be destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, trouble your kiddo. Nothing more disgusting than a goose ripped open while being pulled out of a jar.
Vincent would probably disagree. Vincent would probably want to fuck it.
Slut.
Touché.
My trip is to find the answer to the riddle.
Well, that may take some time.
Well, I got it, Donald.
Yes, me too.
What are you going to do with your time, Donnie?
Please, not Don. I hate it, Don. Don or Donald, if you please.
Certainly. We all try hard not to offend each other. After all, being in close quarters like this, honey, it's only easy.
Thanks, John. Getting to your question, though, what will I spend my time doing? I guess that becoming alive is part of what I will be doing.
I hope you can reach that. That's very admirable. Almost romantic. Don't you think, Francine?
I think so, yes. Very much so. Romantic. And that's good. We need someone romantic down here. And I don't mean romantic the way you think I mean it. I mean romantic in the old-fashioned way. Clean cut, respectable, Victorian-esque brilliant. In other words, I mean writing, thinking, trying to bring some sort of divine sense to our sordid little play lives. I always loved authors. Not that I ever met one.
So I see. Somehow you knew I was a writer, I presume?
Yes. We have a certain amount of telepathy, you know. We try to hide it, of course.
Why?
To keep things more interesting. Being one with the entire universe can be a real bore. You can't imagine the number of times I've almost thrown up tuning into the more mundane aspects of human existence. Quite simply, living hell. Why, I can't believe that most people really think they're alive even. Their ideas are so banal and mundane. It's enough to make an infant's birthday party seem like a wild Belize satyricon by comparison.
Really?
Oh, really, Doctor? We're talking super mundane here, guy. Click. Gotcha. One middle-class nacho bites the dust. He was so boring, really. His wife didn't even know he was dead for 3 weeks, Donald. She thought he was simply being polite.
Well, as you have correctly surmised...
We knew you were coming, if that's what you mean.
Really?
Yep.
How do I know that?
Shall I tell you, Sean?
Sure.
Let's see. Your cock is 7.5 inches long. Your lover's is 8, which makes for a perfectly wonderful pair, might I say. And you and Ernie, that's your lover's name, were really very pointedly loyal. But you died nonetheless. And the doctor said you were playing, not in the street, but in the freeway when the water truck hit you. The water truck being the AIDS plague. Shall I go on?
That's amazing. Far fucking out! Jesus, will I get this omniscience?
If you love.
Play along.
Well, it gets real lonely down here. And a queen like me, well, I need a nice, fresh, stiff man now and then. Got it?
She's kidding you, Donald. Don't get bent out of shape.
Actually, honey, you aren't my type. But for a queen, you really are very attractive. If I were straight, I'd probably go for you. In a dark room.
Until you reach for a twat and grab a handful of the family jewels.
It's nice of you to say that, Donna. Real nice. You have taste. And you have honor. But I know you will be waiting for Ernie. You are the goose that never feels the confines of the bottle surrounding its throat. I'll never be that way. Not forever. Although times do change. And if I hadn't been such a magnificent slut, I might have prolonged my entrance into this sanctuary of fools.
Oh, you're no fool, Francine. You're one of the greatest queens the underworld will ever see.
I'll write about you. Really. Just let me get to know you better. But first, I'll write about the upper world, where I know things a lot better than down here.
Your newfound powers may help you.
I always knew that a writer's mind was composed of some sort of strange oriental wisdom. Well, sort of. You see, I never really felt like I was myself while I was writing. It was always me, and the typewriter, and something else. Instead of feeling me writing, I felt like me was simply the vehicle for something, or some things that were bigger than myself, far bigger. As though the entire universe was flowing into my fingers, almost bypassing my brain altogether. The words flooded out like liquid from my fingers, oozing onto the paper. It was a genesis of activity, a culmination, moment by moment, producing something that was part of, yet vaguely separate from me. As though to be the same as me, I couldn't read it. So therefore, by definition, it had to be outside of me, to give me the distance to perceive what it and I were all about. If we were the same, we'd swallow each other up, the way that the Greeks say that time swallowed its children. When I wrote, I always believed that the typewriter and my brain were mere drones, doing the final work, providing the crude alphabetical printing necessary for readers to utilize, but also providing a sublime, almost incendiary ability of the mind to breathe fire into itself while reading what was appearing on the paper, but only after it was written, not during the procedure.
Well, what have we here? Heavy, heavy, baby.
Yeah, sorry. You got me very well.
Don't be ashamed. It's your trip. That's what you're here for.
Second chance.
Oh, no, a first chance. Life is only the false start. Afterlife is the mature chapter.
Time now. Time to write those books I always wanted.
A writer. What a nice fantasy. I always wanted to fuck Truman Capote. I always knew that his butt would be so wide that dipping it down in there would be tantamount to lowering a telephone pole into the Grand Canyon. Every once in a while it would touch one of the sides. Not that the park ranger would ever allow it. Too daring.
You probably need an environmental impact statement.
If everything is potentially possible here in this out-of-the-body experience, just how do I get a typewriter? Think it? Oh God. What have I done now?
Gone to find himself, I'd expect. Our outer selves are nothing but purely superficial shells, after all. We spent our entire lives judging every man in the world by the size of his pectorals and the bulge in his pants. And it was all for nothing. Why, I remember years ago, before the great plague against the gays. Yes, I had been at a bar, and there was this cute little hunky guy. Cute little muscles, cute little feet, cute little buds, pretty face. And what's more intriguing, he had a box on him that would not quit. Everyone was talking about it. And I was the one lucky enough to snag it. I got into my car, then into my apartment. We headed for the bedroom, and he ripped off his clothes and pulled out a huge sock filled with sawdust that had a knot in the end of it and said, "Where can I put this?" As if he hadn't already found just the right place. I should have told him, "Up your ass, honey, that's where you can put it." But I didn't. I wasn't the real she-bitch that I later became. Real elegance, that which contains the sharply cut sushi of rudeness, a la Tokyo and Kyoto, Japan, darling, can only come after years and years of posing, and posing, reacting madly to each endeavor put forth to bring you down. Well, eventually I had enough of those, let me tell you. Sawdust for a cock. How rude. Anyway, I rose to the occasion. I made love to him. If he needed largesse to that extreme, then who was I to attack his cockiness with nothing less than medieval gentlesse? So, cut that bitch dry. Wasn't bad either as a repast. Sure was better than sawdust.
Got any word on this new one?
No. Probably another faggot, though. Heard the mortician refused to embalm him for fear of spreading the infection.
We ought to be getting combat pay, for Christ's sake.
Think we might catch it?
Yeah, probably already have.
Really?
Yeah,
Then how come you're still here?
because I already got it. You do too.
Bryce, that's scary.
It ain't so bad.
It's easy for you to say.
No, it's the only way we'll ever get a vacation, Mike.
How's that?
When we get it, we'll qualify for sick pay. Also, workers' comp. But we'll be on easy street once we come down with it. We'll get our paychecks without working. Think of it.
Never thought of that.
See?
Makes perfect sense now to put it that way. Hell, I could use a vacation. Damn government owes me what the taxes I'm paying all.
I know that you're all concerned about Gary Elmer Boss and the way that God might react to how he died. Don't do it. That's not the way God would want us to think. After all, one way of dying is just as dignified as another.
I wish you'd just get poor Gary buried. I've got to get to work.
Gary was not particularly a church-going man, but one day when I met him at the hospice, he told me something I'll never forget. Reverend Bobby told me, "I'm an actor and a director, and this is just another part I'm going to play. I always knew I'd play it, but I never thought it would come to this." He could hardly breathe as he spoke. Everything was an effort for him, but his words had great effect on me. I put my hand on his forehead. I bent over and I said, "I'm listening, Gary, go on." And that's when he told me that he'd seen the light at the end of the tunnel. "I'm the light," he said, "and I've always been the light. You see, Reverend Bob," he told me, "I'm going home. I'm casting off this shroud of darkness that keeps the world bound and gagged in a cloak of silence. I'm going where my friends went, and where more of them are going. I'm happy about that." He was brave, very brave. His faith was greater than that of any man I've ever seen. His vision bridged earth and heaven. And what more could God ask of him, your mortal? Nothing, I wager to say. Nothing. And I thank God that Gary Boss lived, because if he hadn't, I would never have known the vision and courage that this young man had. His heart was truly filled with the light that he saw. I believe he was touched by God. He was saved then and there as we talked.
That's the best one I've ever heard. Dignified, respectful, the way it should be.
It was nice.
It don't matter. He's a doornail.
I know that those of you that were close to him will feel pride in Gary's bravery. It is difficult for a young man to accept the fact that he is not eternal, that his days are numbered, not in years, but in short days and hours, most of them filled with immeasurable suffering. Gary was an inspiration to me. I never met a young man who had to die simply for being a young man. He was born in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that was his only failure. It proved fatal to him.
These grave orders are coming faster and faster. We ought to be saving for our retirement plans. Yeah, but retirement to what? That's the question. This damn plague might get us yet. I reckon death is a form of retirement. That's pretty profound, Dick. You was named after Nixon after all, wasn't you?
I am light. I am light. I am light. Skywalker. Light. I am light. Light, light, light. Aha. You see? Mind over matter. This is great. This is really great. Dear hearts, welcome to Falcon Crest. I am the light and the way. I am the darkness and very, very gay. I have crossed the river, bridged the gap between here and here. Cute little river jumper that you are. I am the light. I am the force. I am the sun. I am the light of living souls. Well, I am certainly bewitched, even if I've heard this 100 times before. When will the hospice start a new routine for these guys?
I can still do my thing. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. Applause, applause, applause. The evil that men do oft times lives after them. The good is often turned with their bones. So let it be with Caesar! The evil that men do oft times lives after them. Oh my God! The evil. What have I done? I couldn't stop myself. Even when I knew. I just kept tricking and tricking, making love to young men who were unsuspecting of my motives. I became the dick of death.
Hoorah! One more hand from our campaign. What's the matter, dear? World get too tough for you?
Who are you?
Your brother-in-law, dear. An actor like yourself. I, too, was one of the evil faggots who wouldn't quit. After all, how could I? I had a reputation to protect. Besides, anyone who fucks when there's an epidemic around knows he's going to get it. So don't fret. We all wanted to die. You too. That's why you're here. That's why we're here. We're just actors, dear.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous, really.
I believe so, yes.
You felt that others' lives were worthless, but not your own. So you went ahead and ended theirs for them. You're always the director, aren't you?
Yes, and someone else did the same to me.
Ah, but two wrongs don't make a right.
I know. But maybe it wasn't wrong.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. That's almost effective logic. It's at least mathematically correct. And it's better than I am light.
No, I like the light. Light! It's fun.
Like the dog that thinks it's barking up the sun, or the director who thinks the play is his own.
Or the dick that believes it is devouring innocence. Just so, in that way, I continued my journey through gay life with the ardor and compassion that you might expect of a virile young man in search of new experiences. I journeyed to all parts of the world in search of the New Testament. All my life, I was certain that something supernormal was working through me, and that I was on the verge of becoming what? Important, maybe? Yes, simple as it is, that's it, of becoming important.
It has always amazed me how young men, whether gay or straight, suddenly reach an age where they suddenly realize they have a dick. Seems to take forever for this wondrous idea to poke its face down through the guilt blanket which the Mother Church has placed like a fern over each young man's gonads. And I know the reason. In my case, it was Father O'Brien. Brothers, it's Mom or Dad or Aunt Lucy. They're all the same. One way or another, they are all Father O'Brien. You see, Father O'Briens all over the universe taught Health 1 classes to high school students without ever once they had testicles or penises. Except, of course, for urinating. That is its function. The balls are for storing piss. That's probably why it takes a young man so long to realize that he has a dick which can be used for something other than getting rid of Diet Pepsi or stolen Budweisers. And that makes a dick all the more mysterious to him. And important. Almost as important as God. Yes, it's true, don't deny it, you know the truth of my words. Sex is a powerful position. Almost akin to a mating of Aesculapius the healer, with Mars the warrior, and Zeus the thunderbolt hurler. I can prove that it's true, too. You bet I can.
How can you prove that?
Easy. Very easy. Otherwise, why would we all say, Jesus, barely audible under our breath while coming? I mean, saying, Jesus, goes so naturally with the sexual term. I mean, it's true, right? It rings absolutely true. You betcha. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. They always say that. Even an atheist says God under his breath when he dies. How do they know?
Beat me off of the hooker's dildo. How, pray hell?
Because they've heard themselves saying it when they shoot their rocks up through the ceiling, lying next to some little lady, whether it be their wife, their mistress, their whore, their lover, or their kept boy. You see, there are no atheists or agnostics in the last throes of an orgasm. We are all believers then.
I can't believe it. I actually have to agree with her. Him. Whatever, Francis.
It's an interesting idea. Not bad. Stimulates the thought, that's for sure.
But do you think that Father O'Brien, God bless his little palsy, self-righteous, and sacred holy heart, is going to tell you that? No. But nonetheless, Father O'Brien will be saying, Jesus, under his breath, as the tight-ass little choir boy walks by with those cute hardening buns that make the Father's heart beat so fast, and his gonads move backward under the stiffening of his sacred and consecrated door in the cold cathedral's wind. Enough to drive the good Father nuts, if you get my drift.
You are certainly at home here.
I suppose, dear, if you say so.
I do, yes I do. I'm Gary Voss.
I know.
How?
I can read. It was on your tombstone.
That was quick.
You took a long time to croak, honey. That tombstone was ready for months. Besides, we have our ways.
Ways?
Telepathy. You'll get it too.
Certainly glad they didn't take you to the cemetery to visit. Might have been counterproductive.
Your closet is well protected. Visitors can't tell much about you from. It's not like it's pink or a triangle or anything. It's just a 100% straight-laced, bigoted, closeted fucking stone. Your private life is still private.
What did you want, a guest list?
Oh, you have heart. I like that.
Did I ask?
Bitchy little thing, aren't we?
Not we, honey, thee, meaning you. Besides, being buried in a play section is tantamount to being declared thing. Or having thee or...
Well, at least you give me non-diminutive case of you, nothing demeaning in thee, my chum.
So you guys ever have to play around here?
Oh, all the time. Too many homes.
Yes, lots. You'll like to hear. In fact, here's one with hundreds.
You might have seen Donald. Can't sleep. Got night sweats. I guess you were right. Guess I got it too.
I was sure that mankind had entered into a new type of relationship with the world. I'd made love to hundreds and hundreds of men before the great epidemic came to cut our numbers in half, then fourth, then 1 to 10.
I'm scared. I don't want to deteriorate the way you did, Donald. That was the worst part. Watching you.
Yes, I know, Ernie. In retrospect, it was a cruel joke of the universe. But all of our loving and caring for one another would become the very undoing of our lifestyle and our movement. To think that we were not only imparting our love into one another, but the very seeds of our own destruction was not noticed by us until more than 50% of our brothers were doomed to die on the very suffering of the seed that had heretofore been our consecrated staff of life.
Jesus, you guys don't know.
What's happening to us, Donald? Our friends? They're dying too. So plague. Plague on our houses.
We thus were forced to either change our ways or perish. But living on the very cutting edge of love and sexuality, we were caught in the very bind.
Donald?
If we changed in our ways, we perished in our souls.
Donald?
And if we didn't, we were doomed to an early, painful death.
I should have listened. We both should have listened. Mom was right. Guys like us, we were poison. Poison on the hook.
Yes, poison. Love itself, my love, was our poison. But at least it was better than hate. It was morbid at best. And it all came upon us too quickly. First at its depths and dimensions, the great plague wrote its mark on our foreheads, and the angel of death that was to follow was awesome in its revenge.
Lights, action, theater.
Sexually, we had been like children playing in the street. Not knowing that cars were coming around the corner, destined to take us away without warning, before we ever saw their awful fingers sparkling to westward. Before we noticed, they were on us in the bright glare of the warm summer's twilight.
It kind of came up behind me. But I wasn't looking. I feel like some great bird has just picked me up and dashed me on the street, but I didn't die. Oh, Donald, that's awful. I'm cold all the time. Shaking. Sweating. Scared.
He's right, you know. It was so overpowering. Fuck the car next door. I need something else. An eagle? Yes, an eagle. That would be great. Maybe an American eagle. They can't take that way, can they? That way they took the Olympics away from the gay Olympics Games? I hope not. Let me try it this way. You were plucked up with the rapacious hunger of the disease, as though we were being attacked by a swarm of eagles. We were carried one by one up to the mountain, where our livers were torn from us by horrid beaks, unremitting, remorseless, powerful beaks. That's better. Thanks, lover. Seeing you shaking like that helped the idea, Joe.
I miss you, Don. I miss you. I knew I wouldn't want to go on without you. Perhaps this is a blessing in a way, then. We can be together sooner.
Don't suffer much, my friend. At least mentally. It's better here than there. I'm already happier. I'm doing things there wasn't the time to do up there. And you'll like it, Ernie. I know you will.
I'm hurt so much. Our beds festered against our sores, while doctors with bright yellow instruments, pretending to be hawk-like birds of great knowledge, pulled at our organs, then feeding off of them, taking sample after sample, till there was nothing at all left to sustain our life.
My God, isn't that the truth? I felt like such an object in the hospital. All they ever did was take samples dressed up in their masked man outfits. Boy, were they in costume.
Doctor! I'm cold. I'm very cold.
Then, being the eagles that they were, hungry for flesh, they came down from the mountain to sit almost in great wickedness and plucked up another of us, and then another, reveling in our misery, seeing us as a new opportunity to beat the odds of death and dying by surviving us, passing us on, leaving them alive, well and fat. To us it was useless. We saw ourselves as helpless, furry things, little generic males waiting to be eaten alive one by one, as certainly as the sun rises in the morning. Then we saw ourselves being viewed with scientific scrutiny as though each of us was a new and wondrous victim. God, we were almost thankful to be eaten alive by the wondrous probing knives. We squirmed bravely, in between bite after bite of the persistent virus that swarmed through our individual and collective bodies, like the great universal connected tissue of death that cemented us all together and pulled us skyward out of this horrible, evil world in which our very lives had become deadly to us.
Lights. I am light. Yes, I am light. Makes sense to me.
He's right, you know.
Oh, I know. Robbie knows. It's they who don't know. The people who are still alive. They who don't play children's games in the streets. The self-professed important people. The moral majority. Oh, they think they do. But they don't.
I'm getting tired of this, Dick.
Well, Michael, keep it up. It'll get easier. The old bones are getting tired, that's all. At least faggots work no harder to bury just because their dicks are so hard they took them under.
You think they got souls?
Oh, I'll slap that bitch's face. Fuck you, in Germany he would have been a Nazi.
Ooh, and a damn good-looking Nazi, too, if he washed up a bit. Even filthy, he turns me on.
Don't do it.
Why?
That kind of man will take you down.
Honey, already did. Shoved me into a hole where I am now.
Don't know. Never really thought about it.
Well, maybe not. But I was thinking, if this is God's retribution against them, well, maybe they ain't got souls like the rest of us.
We all got souls.
What for? Just to make them suffer?
I'm a gentle parishioner, Mike, so don't ask me what the divine fucker has in mind.
Gentle parishioner, my ass. You're a redneck and nothing more. I'm ashamed I was buried by you, you son of a bitch.
So that's what I was doing? Playing in the street when the car hit me? Before I could even see the bumpers?
No, Robbie, you weren't playing in the street. You just died, that's all.
Why?
Why? Why, Robbie? What makes you think you're any better than me, huh?
I don't think that, Francine. You know that I respect you. Without you here to be my friend, I just die.
Out of the mouths of babes.
I just wondered, why me, that's all?
Because, Robbie, you fed on our blood. What contaminated us contaminated you.
But why me?
Because.
Because what?
Just because there isn't a reason. It came upon each and every one of us in the night, dear. None of us got the message until we had the very fatal dose of the stuff in us that killed us.
Why?
Because.
I read this from a book entitled AIDS in Retrospect by an anonymous closeted gay person, a PWA Francine. I don't like it, but it's been written down. We were taken unawares. We continued to love, thinking it was safe, wonderful. We were unwilling to quit and give ourselves up to any repression of our urges to love. And so, it killed us, one and all. One by one we left the world, as though nature was too brutal a place for us to be loving brothers.
Hey!
So we died. Not because we loved, but in spite of it. Our deaths were a parallel portion of our living, interconnected. Sex and death, it seemed, had become interlocked, just as Sigmund Freud had predicted from his dogmatic Victorian armchair almost 100 years before. It's a very grisly book, I think. The plague was imperceptible at first. It came on little cat feet, dancing in our discos, perching itself on our bar tops next to the guys we always wanted, nesting its nose warmly inside each of their crotches, where we were sure to find it. But that wasn't all. The virus saw our every action. It thrived at the cutting edge, at the very playfulness where we lived, and later died. We forged new territories in sexuality, and it was good. But it lurked inside our hearts and souls and waited. It bided time until it had us all within its grasp, and only then did it strike us down. And so we began dying before we could even see that which was causing our horrible suffering deaths. We died. We died because. Why? Because we had been infected for 5 to 10 years and didn't even know it. We had it before it even showed its ugly head. And so we passed it on, one to the other, mate by mate, our loving bodies curving with rhythmical smoothness into the beauty of our hard, muscular shapes. We lifted weights for year after year, and we became as nearly physically perfect as possible. In short, we were eventually like Plato's theorem of forms. We lived in a world of irregularities, yet as our beauteousness increased in quantum proportions by our intelligence, with the innate perfectibility of our forms, ascending skyward by the sheer weight of our perfections, we sought death out, as though our beauteousness was too good for this world to support, as though only death itself would be enough for us, and anything else, being second best, was a cop-out. For only the dignity of death could we take ourselves skyward, those places where Plato said that perfect forms abounded peaceably in their own world. And that is what we wanted. Just a place to bring our perfections to rest. A place where we could be safe. Only to do so, we had to die. And being used, caught up in the age of physical perfection, we of course required a very special, painful death. More painful than the bright light of love itself. And so we finally found that perfection we had always been seeking. Like Michelangelo's paintings, divine portraits of beauteous angels, we labored in our quarters, tightly squeezed together in our wondrous ghettos where our great cathedrals, the bathhouses, squatted to piss in the vicinity of wildly decorated bars. We swarmed like grand hordes of beauteous trumpeter swans, holding Ganymede in our arms, burying ourselves with the beauteous aplomb of Zeus himself, high up on Olympus, longing for extinction, flitting endlessly toward our death. Lovingly, beauteously, we passed our hidden secret. Like angels stepping too close to the earth, we had hid our faces from the gods themselves, and longing for immortality, we became the physical gods that we wished ourselves to be. Thus, we eased the pain of separation from our fellow men who shunned us for so many ages past. I know, it's true. In our sorrow for past wrongs, we were blinded. No one could tell us a thing. So we pressed on, dancing into our death dance, and seeing only eternal life therein. We were the bird that flew too close to the flame, Icarus blinded by the beauty of flight to the sun, falling into flames onto the dance floor, burning out in a beauteous haze of dazzling glory. The plague performance worked well. It orchestrated each one of us quietly with great loving stealth. Even the Germans, who were brilliant at times in the persecutions of homosexuals, did not work nearly with such thoroughness and professional acumen. The plague stayed hidden, floating like lost Ophelia swept out to sea, residing quietly within our inner oceans. Meanwhile, it wormed its enchanting way into our brain stems, our spinal fluids, our spermatozoa, our lymphocytic cells, right into the very plasmic origins of our beings. We and it became one and the same. We became, in short, a mute testimony of the relationship between love, sex, and death that has always fascinated members of our race, no matter what their sexual preferences, genders, or other persuasions.
It moves me a great deal. I've never heard anything quite like it.
Death has a way of stilling the heart so that it can sing.
Yes, it does. A poem about the dick of death, I presume, Tom.
In a way, yes, I suppose you can say that.
Well, you said it grandly. There's a flair to those words that gives me the chills. I feel almost divine as I listen to them. Makes me almost proud I'm dead.
I was moved to tears. It made my suffering seem worthwhile. I never thought of it.
Yeah, me too. I never knew you guys thought that way. No, really. I mean, I figured all you guys ever thought about was getting your rocks up.
Sometimes, anyone who's a part of the earth is corrupted by it. The light is broken up by the material nature of the person and the planet. Here, however, where we are free of the limitations of the body, our perfectibility is enhanced. I still can't explain it, but someday I'll be able to.
You've done quite well, dear. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. But I'm not done.
I'm not done either. And if you can write like that, then perhaps I can direct some of us in a play of sorts.
Play. That'll be fun.
Yes, it would, Rob. After all, happy hands are busy hands, or so they say, Gary, isn't that right?
You'd be perfect, Francine. After all, as the world's greatest...
The underworld's greatest queen, dear. Up there, I didn't appear nearly so hot. I can assure you.
Anyway, I have a marvelous part for you in the play.
And Vincent.
Vincent. Ah, yes, Vincent. He plays the most important and loving part in the play.
Vincent.
Everyone ready?
Yes.
Lights! Places!
Well, there goes another one. That's over 100 souls this year.
What a waste of humanity.
Yeah, what a waste. Well, let's get on with it.
Lights! Action!
I get scared being back here, Michael.
Me too, Dick. I wish they'd cremate all these AIDS victims. It'd make more sense, especially since there's so many of them. In life, but in death, as we all know, the Creator has given us a second chance. Here we become as one. We are the equals of each and every other man. The world seems to stop for even its least member during these moments, as if the Lord had arranged our death so that we may come together and acknowledge in our hearts that yes, even the least of us commands respect. And so, thus comes our forgiveness of whatever took place during our loved one's life. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We come into the world and are made flesh of the earth, and to the earth we shall all return. And thus our sister Janet Spencer Smith came and lived and now returns to the earth from whence she came. And thus are we all her equals, and shall let her join her ourselves as such. May God be with her during her sojourn.
ever. I got it for you. Stood by you. We felt like love ought to be able to handle death itself. It couldn't. They hate us. Even in death, they hate us. You're mistaken, Janet. They haven't changed. They haven't evolved. I remember the time we met. I was immediately struck by your naivete. You're so young, vulnerable. I was faithful to you. You know that, Janet, don't you?
Yes, I know that, Drake.
I never wanted anyone else after I met you.
Nor me either.
We thought it was a gay disease.
But it was too late. We were already doomed.
Oh, God.
I can't believe it's happened to me.
I'm going to miss you, Janet.
I'll miss you too, Drake. Tell me, Drake, how things are at home. How are friends taking it, huh?
I can't believe it's over.
How are they, Drake? Drake! For Christ's sake, Drake! I guess I'm truly alone now. I always dreaded this moment. Being alone. What hell is like now? You know how long he stays this way? A day? Forever? Or just stay here and rot? Go somewhere else. Maybe be a ghost. I wonder if these fingernails really continue to grow for 6 months. I had to make masturbation a little bitch, I bet. That the worms get inside you. What that feels like. Well, might not be so bad. It's on the positive side. Might make it seem like an orgasm that lasts forever. That'd be a change of pace.
At least she chuckled. That's a hell of a lot more than most of them do. Oh well.
That's the way we are when we are here. Frightened. Scared. The disease usually takes us through 3 stages. Denial, bargaining, acceptance.
Death starts the whole damn process all over again. It's like a big hungry circle. Eating his children. Everything comes around again. You know what I mean to.
The way night follows day.
Time repeats itself here. There's simply no end to it. No believing? Just watch. You'll see. Things are developing rather quickly from here on out.
We're lucky, though. It's a lot better for us here than it was before things started really picking up. It's night here all the time. So we get to play at being ourselves instead of wasting our time getting ready for this place. After all, what is nighttime for? Except for playing around.
Oh, honey. It's so true. Right.
Being out there where you are, in the so-called light, you can only watch. You are pretty much unaware of what it all means until you get here and have a chance to mull it over, act it out. Again and again, from a distance.
Don't feel so superior in my ways and eyes. Don't feel so smart. You'll be with us eventually. not so bad. Being dead has its advantages.
In fact, your life is just another little play, just like this one.
Trivial.
Sure.
Superficial.
You'll be watching your lives dance over and over again, part by part, once you get here with us.
Keep acting the way most of you are acting right now. Self-righteous in your theater chairs. Openly loving in the darkness of your bedroom. Hiding a needle mark here and there, maybe. It won't be too long.
You see, being dead isn't so bad.